What's up? Welcome back to another episode of True Blue Sports, and today I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts of the Stanley Cup playoffs so far, and I'm also gonna give you my prediction of mine for the three Game Sevens we have coming up this first round. There's two going on today, and then there's two going on. One going on tomorrow. We'll get into that. So let's get straight to it. So let's get through some of the first round matchups. Let's see. The first one that ended was Winnipeg and Vegas, with Vegas winning that series in five. It was mostly Vegas throughout the series. I will say though, Winnipeg, they showed up in every game except for Game 5. Didn't do so hot in that, but it seemed like in the other games they showed up every game. Game 1, I remember when when the Jets won that game, I was like, maybe Winnipeg can actually show some fight. But as each game gone by, I mean, it was close, but Vegas found a way to pull away. And then there it was, Game 3 or was it Game 4, whatever one it was that went in overtime. I mean, I think it was Game 3, if I'm not mistaken. They just could not get the job done. And because Winnipeg was down for a good while, came back and tied it in the last minute of the third period. And then Vegas got the game winning goal in like the second overtime, I'm pretty sure. But Winnipeg really tried, and they really showed out in that series. It's just Vegas, they found ways to close out each game. Let's see. We also had the Minnesota Dallas series, which ended up being a really good series. It was back and forth, and y'all, I think a lot. If anyone has been keeping up with the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'm pretty sure y'all know how that first game went. 2 overtime. I mean, the game started like at what, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So usually it'll end around, if it stays in regulation, it'll end what? It'll end around midnight, 12:30 around here. There's like 11:30. Okay, no, go over there to it ends like 1:30 in the morning. Here it ended like 2:30, and it went to 2 overtimes, and it was by far the best game I have ever seen in this playoff so far. It was, I mean, Minnesota, there are so many chances Dallas honestly could have won that game. I mean, they had multiple power plays after power play, especially going into overtime. They had so many chances and breakaway plays and one-on-ones, two-on-ones, so many advantages, and Dallas could not get that job done. And then Ryan Hartman with the game-winning goal in double overtime. I mean, it was an incredible game. And I'll be honest, that was the same feeling in that series. I remember that game when I thought, how do you lose a game and then come back after that? I mean, you have to have so much, it's just that's a game that's going to stick with you. But Dallas, they found ways to close it all out. And as for Minnesota, I mean, they had every chance possible to, close out the series too. I mean, but they also showed they fought hard this series. Dallas won this series in 6. Let's see. We also had another series just get done. We had the Edmonton Kings series get over with the Oilers winning in 6. Yesterday was a crazy game, back and forth. I mean, awful decision by the Edmonton goalie, trying to just clear it, but it was such a weak clear, and it ended up just getting right. It just ended up getting on the stick of a Kings player and then getting in there. I mean, tying it up with less than 10 minutes to go in the third, and boom, right after that, Edmonton scores. So I mean, it was just a back and forth game yesterday. A great hostile environment in LA. It was a good game, but Edmonton found a way to get the job done and close out the series, and that was a really fun series to watch. I mean, it was a lot of fun watching them two go at it last year, and here we are with a rematch this year with Edmonton getting the job done. Then I want to go through these last two. Let's go through the Hurricanes first. I will go through them last because they're my favorite team, but let's go through them. What a way to get the Hurricanes to get the job done. I mean, historically in these 5 years of making the playoffs, consecutive years making the playoffs. Haven't really they have struggled on the road, struggled to get a win, struggled to close out games, but at home it's nothing to them. I mean, they go out there and they show up and they get the job done. But when it's on the road, it's something that happens. But then, but now here they are getting 2 road playoff wins in this series as the Hurricanes win in 6. Game 1, Game 2, dominant. I mean, Game 1, 2-1 win. Game 2, winning 4-3 in overtime and not quitting. I mean, they were down 3-2 with less than 10 minutes to go in the period. Ties the game up, and there they are, getting the win in overtime. Game 3, it was a 1-1 game for a while, and then 4 minutes to go, the Islanders take the lead, and they just absolutely went insane, scoring 4 goals in 2 minutes in the last 4 minutes of the game, winning 5-1. I mean, it was really, really bad. And I remember after that game, I don't know if we're gonna win Game 4. It might be another series where we struggle winning it on the road, but we get the job done at home, and we find a way to, and we might go to 7 games or something. But but going into Game 4, we get the job done and win 5-2. I'm pretty sure it was. And it made me feel a lot better. It made me feel somewhat comfortable. But then there's Game 5, and then there's the Islanders. They showed up to play. And I was shocked. I was like, thank God we won Game 4. Shoot. I mean, thank God we, won Game 2. I mean, thank God we ended up winning Game 4, because we could have been down 3-2 going into Game 6, and the environment would have been even more crazier for the Islanders. I mean, so it's definitely a good thing that they found a way to get that Game 4 win. I think that's the reason why. I mean, I think that's the clutch win right there. It was Game 4. I mean, seriously, I don't know what would have happened. Anyways, Game 6, down 1-0 for a while. I'm like, yeah, we might be going to Game 7. Get the huge. I mean, Freddie Andersen came up clutch that game. He struggled throughout the regular season. He's given up some very soft goals. But here he is with 11 consecutive playoff losses as a starter, as a goalie for Freddie Andersen. And here he is ending that losing streak, going in and getting the job done as the Hurricanes win the series in 6, and they win it in overtime after a shot by Stastny that went off the back of Sorokin's leg and went in the goal. Huge win, and definitely that was a good game. Now the next series I want to go over before I go through these 3 Game 7s. Toronto winning in 6 for the first time since 2004, a year before I was born. The first time since 2004 when the Maple Leafs defeated the Ottawa Senators in 7. They won that game in 7. That was 2004, right? They have finally won a playoff series. And not only that, they got past the first round. Isn't that just incredible? They got past the first round for the first time since 2004 and won a playoff series. I mean, Toronto up 3-1 last year against Tampa. Or no, 3-2. There was one year they were up 3-1 against Boston. And then Game 7 up 4-1. There's Boston coming back. They have been through so much in these past 19 years. And here they are finally winning a playoff series for the first time in 19 years. I mean, I really thought we were going to go to a Game 7 here, but no, here we are. Finally, Toronto gets the job done. I mean, who else? I mean, they lost to Washington 2005. It was the Philadelphia Flyers. There have been so many series. They were up 3-1. Game 7's up 3-1. I mean, it was just, they had the lead, in the series or in a game, in a clutch game, and they just would choke that away. And to all Toronto fans, congratulations! Enjoy this series win. They will be playing the winner of the Boston Florida game, and we are gonna now get through the game sevens. So let's go with Vegas versus, since we went there for their since we talked about their series first. Vegas obviously won their series in 5 against the Winnipeg Jets. Now, and the Edmonton Oilers won their series in 6 against the LA Kings. So we do have our first second round matchup set between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. That will be a very fun series to watch. I am really excited for this series. In my opinion, two of the best Pacific Division teams, other than probably also LA, but these are two of the best right here, by far. I am really excited to see the series. Now let's get through this one. Dallas won their series, as y'all know, in 6 against the Minnesota Wild, but they are awaiting a team. Tonight we'll have Game 7 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Seattle Kraken. Now, and this game will be at 9:30 on, I want to say TBS, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. It'll be, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Now, the Seattle Kraken was at home the other night, and they did have a chance to close out the series as they were up 3-2 in the series, but Colorado came in, and they played out. They showed up the entire game. Seattle, they just weren't themselves that night, and I think they just were in the moment. They were at home, and it was just like, wow. This is their first playoff appearance for the in franchise history, and this is only their second year in the franchise. So it's pretty impressive to do that. You saw what Vegas did, and you saw what Vegas did in their first year, Stanley Cup Finals appearance. Anyways, so this is one of our game sevens we'll have today. The under is 5.5. So Colorado won the game 6 4-1. Now the Avalanche have a 23-10-2 record in games their opponents serve more penalty minutes. Their top performers by far is Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. And those will definitely be some key players tonight. Now, both teams, they've gotten their road wins and their home wins, and this could go either way. I can see this game going either way. Now, you've seen what's happened to defending champs before. They've had curses of losing in the first round. They've had curses of... it's hard to win back-to-back Stanley Cups. Now, Tampa, they've done it. They made 3 consecutive appearances in the finals, except last year they just didn't win it. They lost to the Avalanche. But you saw Washington the year after they won their series. They lost first round. It's definitely it seems like that's what happens. They either lose in the first 2 rounds as defending champs. Now, with that being said, I do see the Avalanche winning this game. Honestly, I see this game going into overtime. I think it will be a back-and-forth game, but Colorado either is going to close it out with some empty netters, or they'll go into overtime and Colorado will get the job done. Because the difference between this Seattle team and that Vegas team, the year they made the finals, there's a huge difference. Vegas had Fleury in net. Another Game 7 that is going on today will be Boston and Florida. Now, that is the matchup that Toronto fans are waiting for, because that would be one of the 2 teams they're playing in the second round. Now, Boston was up in this series 3-1. Looking like, okay, they're going to get this series win more than likely. Well, let me tell y'all something here. Game 5 They go to overtime. Now, Marchand almost had a game-winning goal in regulation, but nope. Huge save. They go in overtime, and Florida gets the game-winning goal. Huge, huge goal. And they make it to a Game 6. Game 6, back and forth. I mean, goal after goal, goal after goal, right? It's 3-2, Florida leads, and then 2 goals in like 3 minutes or something. Boston scores, and they're at 4-3, and most people, including me, are like, there it is. Boston got it. Florida scores. They're up. Scores. Then Boston scores. They're up 5-4. Next thing, 3 more goals, and Florida wins this game 7-5. Game 6 was such an entertaining game. And we are here in a Game 7, which I think this could go either way. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I do think Boston's going to get the job done. I think they're going to dominate tonight's game. But I would not be surprised at all if Florida comes out, shows up, and shows some fight. And it's a close one. Or, to be honest, if Florida wins this. They have played so well this series. I think their one bad game was probably Game 2 and definitely Game 4. Other than that, I've been really impressed with what I've seen from this team. And this is a series that a lot of people, including me, thought this was just going to be a really quick series and Boston was going to win in like 4. But because Florida, they really weren't their best in the regular season. But they're here in the playoffs and they are showing out. Now for the one last Game 7, which is tomorrow. And this is the matchup me and the rest of the Hurricanes fans are looking at, and that is the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers, and that is the matchup. Whoever wins that series will end up playing my Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I will say this. I'd rather play the New Jersey Devils. Last year, we lost to the Rangers in 7, and again, that was another series we struggled on the road, and we dominated at home, except for, of course, Game 7. And I'd much rather play the Devils. I think the Rangers are most definitely the better team. Now, the Devils, they played really well this series. They were down 2-0, and here they are coming up clutch those 3 games, especially on the road and at New York, which by far, Rangers home playoff games, they are insanely loud. They are one of the best environments I have ever seen in this playoff. And yes, last night the fans showed out. Rangers won last night's game 4-1. Both teams have played exceptionally well. So, honestly, I'm not surprised we are here for a Game 7. I do think the Rangers are going to end up winning this game. Now, I think it's going to be a really close game, and the Rangers will end up scoring a late goal to end up winning this game. I think it's going to be a late game-winning goal, and whoever loses is definitely going to be a really heartbroken team and fans, but I do think the Rangers are going to be that one to close it out. It's going to be a really good game, but I do think the Rangers are going to find a way and they're going to pull it off and get the win. I mean, so far, like, this Stanley Cup playoff has been so entertaining, like it has been every year. Every year, it's like the Stanley Cup playoffs never disappoint. In my opinion, it's second best behind March Madness. I mean, this is literally the March Madness of, like, pro sports, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. The NBA playoffs, fun to watch. NFL playoffs, that's also fun to watch. And then when the MLB playoffs come on, those are really fun to watch. But there's something special about the Stanley Cup playoffs that I've ever since I started watching it. It's been something special to me, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. And it's something that's never disappointed at all. I will say, though, and it's definitely been a problem this year, the officiating has definitely been something that's been a complaint from a lot of fans, and I will say, including me, but, I mean, that is something that's going to happen every year. I mean, you're going to get that really bad officiating in the Stanley Cup. But other than that does not change the fact how this year it's been a lot of fun. I mean, you got Toronto going to the second round, a possible huge upset between Florida and Boston. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, y'all. See you on the next episode. I don't know when I'm going to go live for a game yet. I still got to look at my schedule and see how that's going to go. My next episode, though, will be, I want to say, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't know when, or next Sunday. I don't know when that's going to be, but it's going to be between one of those 3 days. And that's pretty much all I have. My next live stream, again, I don't know when that's going to be. I wasn't able to do it today or this weekend, but I promise you it will end up happening soon. And especially since now with May coming up, I mean, we're in the second round, so we're going to get deep into not only the Stanley Cup playoffs, but NBA playoffs. And soon before you know it, we'll have all the college baseball tournaments going on and the NCAA tournament. So definitely a play-by-play live will happen soon. And then soon with summer coming up, I'll have an episode out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'll get to go live a lot more for sure. But that's going to do it, y'all. Thank you for watching. True Blue Sports, signing out.